Hello, everyone. This is Leadership Talk with Adegoke podcast. This is the 40th episode of Leadership Talk with Adegoke podcast. I'm so privileged and honored to have with me Anne Murphy. Anne is from Oregon in the United States of America. We're going to be looking at leadership and fundraising. Awesome topic. Leadership Talk with Adegoke. We've taken so many topics: leadership and innovation, leadership and purpose, leadership and forgiveness was last Sunday. We've had leadership and sales. We've had leadership and women, leadership and men. We've had leadership from all areas, So I'm just so privileged to have with me Anne tonight. Anne, how you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Adegoke. The episode on leadership and forgiveness sounds fascinating. Thank you so much for having me. This is your 48th or your 49th?
40th.
48th episode. It's a privilege.
No, 40.
40. Okay, thank you for having me. It's exciting. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Excellent. How's Oregon today? How's the weather?
So this is one of the times of year that it can be really hit or miss in Oregon. So a lot of people know that Oregon is really, really rainy. But then in the summertime, it's hot and arid, just completely dry heat. And right now we're in the middle. So we had 80 degree, 85, even 90 degrees last week. And now it's gray and sprinkling, so it's not like there's not a huge fluctuation, but we pretty much have two seasons, rainy and sunny. But the nice thing is it's really beautiful because it rains so much. Everything is super green.
Excellent. Wow. You're welcome. Now, tell us, who is Anne Murphy?
It's such a good question, and it's also existential. So I do think that one of the words that comes to mind when I describe myself, and for sure when other people describe me, is leader. And that was just, I was born with natural leadership skills. And to be honest, for a long time, I didn't want them. There was so much responsibility that came along with having leadership skills and having people say, you're a leader, other people are looking up to you, it's kind of a lot. So when I was younger, I didn't really own that aspect of my leadership, which I have grown into. So I have to say that one of the words that I would use to describe myself is leader. Okay. I think I'm really super motivated by achievement. I've always been, a high achieving person, and I do distinguish that from perfectionism. Perfectionism is its own world, and it has pros and cons. But I really enjoy being high achieving, and I like being around other people who are high achieving. And I'm very, very caring. Like as a leader, I really believe in caring about people personally. So in my work life, I don't really subscribe to the whole there's work and there's life and you got to have this balance. They're blended together. And so I think, between, being high achieving and caring about people, those are some of the main things. And then other things I would say to describe myself. I'm a mom. I have two kids. I have two biological children and a stepdaughter, and I have two dogs, and I mom everybody, whether they like it or not, everybody gets snacks.
Wow. So you care for everyone.
I do. I take really good care of people around me because that, it makes me feel good. I believe deeply in the magic of helping others. I know that if I'm having a bad day, the number one most surefire way to turn a day around is to do something for somebody else.
Amazing. Awesome.
Right? If you're having a bad day, think about something you can do for somebody else. It changes your brain chemistry.
Wow.
It changes being inwardly focused.
Hmm.
You do something for somebody else, and then all of a sudden things are just vibrating differently in your
Wow.
life,
Wow. Wow.
So
I remember, one of my mentors been to Dallas, Texas.
mhm.
Zig Ziglar is late now.
Uh-huh.
Zig.
Mhm.
Zig says that you can get everything you want if it would help enough people get what they want. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you have to. Good things will come to you naturally if you just do the right things for other people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what is happening now. I mean, I'm so privileged to have you on this podcast. If I didn't start the podcast, would have been able to meet.
I know. And
You
now
know,
here we are.
yeah, that's it. So it's such. I'm just. It speaks to what to what you just said about you caring and helping other people get what they want, making sure they're happy, and you
Yep.
become happy.
Yep.
Our joy comes from helping others.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not about. Awesome, awesome, wow. So how did you get into leadership? I know you've spoken about your
Yeah.
childhood. Yeah.
So I think it came from a couple of different directions. One
Okay.
is a little bit unique, and I'll share that I was always, so I'm tall, I'm 6 feet tall. And so, like lots of young women, I, grew and was done growing by the time I was 13 or 14 years old.
Okay.
And one of the interesting phenomenon that goes along with that, and it's not uncommon for young women who are tall to be expected to be a leader. You're
Wow.
thought of as being older than you are because you might look older,
Yeah.
because you're not as small as other people, so you look like you're older. As you know, leadership and height, people tend to
There's a
associate,
connection. Yeah.
right? They mix them together. If someone's tall,
Even
they think they're a
even
better
in the
leader.
past, you're chosen
Yeah,
to
you're the one.
pretend.
And so, being tall at an earlier age, I had a lot of that stuff, like put on me and expected of me. But
Good.
at the same time, I was also raised as an athlete. And so I developed those like natural skills like resilience
Super.
and
Yeah.
teamwork.
Wow.
I developed those skills that then translates into good leadership. So I had stuff coming in from the outside, people saying, "Oh, you're a leader," or "Oh, you should be mature enough."
Yeah.
You need to be the one to, set the stage for people. And then
Yeah.
I had the internal stuff happening where I was developing these skills that really kind of create the foundation for leadership.
Awesome.
And I would say that, being in fundraising, it is a great career path for high achieving people.
Wow.
And in many ways, that really fit well with kind of growing me as a leader because I am always operating on a high level, right? I'm working with leaders of organizations. I'm working with powerful people. I'm working on high visibility projects. And so
Wow.
little by little, you just refine those skills. And
Wow.
so now, I mean, I'm 47, and I
Okay.
would say in the last 5 years, my leadership skills really like all came together. And now I can trust myself in almost all situations.
Wow.
I can trust myself,
Awesome.
you
Well done.
know.
Well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why do you say that your leadership has really come? What has made it come up? What has really made it
Yeah.
grow? Yeah.
I would say one of the biggest things is that for a long time, I thought I would know like what's the right path to go down, but I would question myself
Yeah.
and question myself and question myself. And so it would feel unnatural. When I
Hmm.
finally made the decision, it felt like it had just been through the ringer,
Yeah.
It wasn't organic. It was
Okay.
more labor intensive. Maybe I would ask other people. Maybe I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
And now I feel like, okay, there's a connection. There's the intuition. The intuition is there and it's refined and I can trust it.
Okay.
And there's the skills, right?
Okay.
The actual craft of
Okay.
being a leader.
Okay.
And then there's the intellectual aspect that I have that I learned from other mentors, or I learned from reading, I learned from, you know, everything, from people like you, from my friends, you know, my friends and my network and my connection who've taught me how to be a leader, and people who have been willing to say, hey, you know, on that one item, I think you missed the mark. And getting to the point in your life where you can be surrounded by people who will tell you the truth.
Yeah.
That is an achievement.
Wow.
And so that's one of the things that happened.
So you were intentional about becoming a leader.
Absolutely.
And you made yourself available to critics.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I do have boundaries though on criticism.
Yeah.
And here's my perspective on criticism that I think works. It works in both directions. So, you know, we used to say constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And I really like the notion of constructive criticism because now we call it feedback.
Yeah. Okay.
Feedback, I think, tends to be an excuse to say whatever you want.
Okay.
Whereas constructive criticism is outcome oriented. It's, you know, right? It's, I'm going to put something into you to make you better. The word constructive, you're constructing something. It's active. It's I'm investing in you. It's not lazy, right?
Yeah.
And there are boundaries around it. It's like you don't, if your intention is to give constructive criticism, you're going to do it in a kind, thoughtful manner for the most part. Whereas I think feedback, it's kind of this it's like a free pass to say whatever you want and not have any outcome intended. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it.
I never saw it this way. You know, this is the first time I'm going to be having someone, you know, really break it down. And it makes a lot of sense, you know, because feedback, it could just be, you know, you don't feel there's any obligation, you know, just, you can just, yeah.
Feedback is something I think of, you know, at the restaurant where they say, give us your comments or you know, feedback, you can send feedback in an email, right? Yeah. Feedback is to be ignored. Feedback is a light treatment or an insincere treatment, and constructive criticism is a two-way street. And I the only thing I ever ask with people is, you know, don't tear the person down. Don't do that. Tear them down to build them back up. Your guidance needs to be delivered with kindness. Yeah. Or not at all.
Wow.
Keep it to yourself. If you don't have the skills to deliver, you know, constructive criticism with kindness, you're not qualified.
Wow. Wow, amazing. Now tell us, what's the relationship between leadership and fundraising? Do you require certain skills to raise funds as a leader?
Yeah, it's such a good question. I think the most important skill in being successful fundraising is listening.
Wow.
And as you know, through all of your work, and everything that you've accomplished in your life and all the leaders that you've met and the mentors that you've had.
Yes.
And you've chosen to do a podcast. So clearly, I mean, the power of listening, it's magical.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Right? And you're not just, and the same thing with leadership. So you're not just listening for the sounds, you're listening for the pauses.
Oh, yeah.
right? You're listening for what's not said, right? You're listening for, are someone's shoulders up or are their shoulders down? This means I'm not comfortable. This means I am, right? This means I don't trust you. This means I think something bad's going to happen. This means, so it's listening. It's listening in the global sense of the word.
Wow.
And I think that's, in fundraising, it's the only way. You can't be successful without being an excellent listener.
Wow.
And in
I
leaders,
have a podcast. Sorry to cut you. I have a podcast. No. One of the past podcasts, our listeners can listen to that. It's called Leadership and Listening. And it's one of the most listened to of my podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same thing is true with leadership. You have to be able to listen. And I'm often amazed by how, if I'm clear on what the person needs from me, whether I am, because sometimes people need you just to listen.
Okay.
And sometimes people need you to help them problem solve.
Excellent.
But going into that knowing, which one is it? Am I problem solving or am I just listening? Because those are two different kinds of listening for me.
Okay.
So I think that skill of listening applies to being successful in fundraising as well as in leadership. That's one of the main ones.
All right. Excellent. So now, what's the consequence of a leader not being able to raise funds?
Lots. So oftentimes people are fundraising for organizations that they are the founder of, or they are a leader in, or they are a volunteer, or they are a paid fundraiser. So there's always a lot at stake, right?
Okay.
Oftentimes it's the health of the organization, it's relationships, it's the beneficiaries, whether they are kids or dogs or pets, or whether it's civil rights or you name it, whatever the cause is, it's serious business. It's important, or else we wouldn't have a nonprofit, because business would have solved it or government would have solved it.
Yeah.
Right? These are problems that don't have obvious solutions. So when those leaders, founders, volunteers, or paid fundraisers are out there fundraising, there's a lot on the line.
Wow.
And so with the leader, when the leader is the fundraiser, one of the things that's at stake is that usually there are a group of people who know that there's a fundraising project going on.
Okay.
Maybe you've published it, maybe it's a public campaign, maybe it's out there in the world, or maybe it's just a small, tight-knit group of advisors and confidants who know that you're doing fundraising.
Okay.
Well, a lot of leaders still fear rejection.
Yeah.
Right? Right? Rejection, nobody likes it. But in fundraising, when someone says no, the thing that people need to get comfortable with is that no very rarely means no forever.
Okay. So it just usually need more information.
Yeah, it means, okay, now it's time to go back. All right, talk to me, partner with me, teach me, tell me, because it's either not the right project, not the right amount, or I wasn't the right person to ask them for the money, or the time is not now. So some leaders will fear the rejection because they haven't given themselves permission to hear the word no and not go crawl into a corner.
Okay.
You get told no, but no is just, it means this is part of the work in progress. Wow. So one of the consequences for leaders who are doing fundraising is, for me, the biggest problem is if they take that as rejection, and they don't pursue this, they won't be successful, and then they're going to have to tell all their friends they didn't get the money.
Wow.
Nobody wants to be that person.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a sad one,
Yeah.
Amazing. So now, for example, if I'm a leader, what are the steps? How do I raise funds? How do I raising funds. One,
Okay.
2, 3. Yeah.
All right. So where would we start? All right. So I think that, all right, I'm going to start with like, here are the bare minimum. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's
So
fine.
let's say, you're a leader and you have a cause that you founded or that you lead or you love. You need to be able to articulate the difference that cause is making in society.
Okay.
In a way that other people can resonate with.
Okay.
So you have to have your value statement, right? And you have to be able to articulate it. You have to be comfortable with it. And if it means that you have to sit in front of the, mirror and say the same 5 sentences over and over and over again, then that's what you do.
Wow.
Because this is your craft, right? You don't wake up in the morning and know how to make a pair of shoes.
That's right.
Right?
That's
You don't wake up in the morning and know how to market your nonprofit that you love. You have to practice it. You have to hone it. So you need to be able to, describe your organization that you lead or love clearly and in a way that inspires donors. So, yeah, baseline. Let's say you got that taken care of. The next thing you need to know what are the opportunities for donors to make a difference. So, every organization has, all these priorities, right? They want this. That's great. And you should have lots of priorities, this great vision, this great mission, 10-year plan, 5-year plan, whatever it is.
Awesome.
But donors are only going to support some of those things, right? They're not going to agree with you that all of those things are exciting, relevant, interesting, worth their personal investment, etc. So after you can describe your organization in a way that's compelling to donors, the next step is to determine how donors can make a difference.
Okay.
How can the donors make a difference? How much does it cost?
All right.
Do not think, well, we need a new building, but I'm not sure how much it costs, and I'm going to go start talking to donors. You have to know. Let's say you want a children's summer camp. Okay. How much does it cost? Right? There's no point. And it's really hard. Sometimes it's really hard for people to say, this is what it costs to do this job. They'll say, well, it costs this much, but we could probably get by with this much.
Okay.
And we could probably grab some money from just what does it cost? Okay.
Specific. All right.
Specific. How much does it cost? Okay. And that's the number that you're giving donors. You're not giving them, this is not a bargain basement deal. This is what it costs. Okay. And then from there, you can go a number of different directions. But what I'm going to assume is that we already have a donor in mind.
Okay.
Okay. So then what you are doing with the donor, there are 4 R's. Okay. The first R is right team.
Okay.
So you got to make sure that the right team is going to talk to that donor.
Okay.
That could be the CEO. It could be the student from the kid from summer camp. It could be the person's neighbor.
Okay.
You got to figure that out. The 4 R's, right team. Okay. Right timing. So by now you've already asked the donor enough about themselves and their lives that when is the right time to come and talk to them about their gift.
Awesome.
Right? Did they just have a crisis? Do they have a kid getting married next week? Do they have 12 kids in college? Got to have the right time.
Awesome.
You got to have the right amount. What's the amount? Right? I already talked about that.
Okay.
Got to know the amount that you're asking them for. Yeah. And then the right project.
Wow.
So, right. So you got to have right time. No, right team. Yeah. Right time. Right amount. And right project.
Wow.
4 R's.
4 hours. Okay. Amazing. Well done. You do a good job. It's as if I'm. This is like a job interview for you. It's all. I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I mean, we're really, I'm sure our listeners, for those who are just coming in, been speaking with Anne Murphy. Anne Murphy is, from Oregon. She's a professional. She's a fascinating lady, and she's adding value on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. We're looking at leadership and fundraising. Now, Anne, I just want to ask you, where can you find the right people to talk to? Yeah.
The right donors to talk to?
The right donors, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's a tough one to tackle, but I'm gonna take it from two different angles. One will be short, and the other one will be a little bit more of a deep dive.
Yeah.
So of course, it's like any other marketing funnel, right? You have to have traffic, right?
Okay.
You got to have know, like, trust.
Okay.
You want, it is a numbers game, right? So with donors, it's just like with customers. You're going to have a certain number of people who need to know about you and like your product and all that stuff. And eventually you're going to nurture them. And then, you're going to have the high ticket clients and the low ticket clients.
Okay.
Okay. So let's put that aside, because that's mostly for you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck out of marketing and communications when you're trying to build your organic traffic.
Okay.
But let's say that you are really zeroing in on the people who can make those gifts of like $50,000 and up.
Yeah.
And I'll give you just a couple of ways to go about finding those donors.
Okay.
One is, maybe they've already made gifts to your organization.
Okay.
If you have someone who has given you $5 25 years in a row, that's a pretty good sign. Yes, it was only $5, but they are philanthropic. You don't have to teach them to make gifts because they already make gifts. So that's half the battle, right? Good. Or maybe you have someone who usually gives you, $750 every year, but then this year they gave you $1,500.
Okay.
You see someone make a jump like that. So what happened, right? So you're going to start thanking these people. You're going to start calling them and emailing them and sending them notes and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I have a couple of key questions I always ask people, and I'll tell you those in a second.
Okay.
So you're going to start looking from within. You're going to look at, you're looking at the people who are already giving to your organization, and then you're going to look at the people who are already volunteering for your organization.
All right.
So giving is treasure, volunteering is time and talent.
All right.
We want all three. We want time, treasure, and talent. Okay. So you're looking at the people who've already given. You're looking at the people who volunteer.
Yeah.
You're also going to look at people who give to similar causes.
Okay.
So kind of just like when you're, when you're marketing, you can look for like look-alike constituents.
So comparables.
Yeah, comparables. So let's say somebody gives to, the swimming team. They may also be interested in supporting the diving team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you're looking for similarities. So you can see a lot of that information is publicly available.
Okay.
You're going to pay attention to, specific donors who are in your local, whether it's a crowdfunding thing online or it's, a story gets written. So you're going to put Google alerts out on gifts for certain kinds of things.
Okay.
But mostly, I think those are going to bubble up from the major gift donors are going to bubble up from your network.
All right.
And in order for you to separate, the donors from like the major gift donors from the others at this stage, it all boils down to asking questions and listening.
Wow.
So do you want me to give you some questions?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here I have a whole guide I can share with your listeners, share with your viewers. I have a guide on asking on questions to ask donors that will help you figure out right team, right time, right program, right project, and right amount. But
Okay.
you are going to ask them questions like, I start with my number one.
Okay.
My number one question is, and I'm going to ask you right now, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Adagoki, what is the first time you ever witnessed somebody making a gift or you received a gift from somebody?
Wow. The first time was when I was, much younger. You
Yeah,
know, I think, my dad, he gave someone a gift, and
yeah.
I was there, and and I was fascinated, by by that. I even thought, it was being too generous, because
Ah, you thought your dad was being too generous?
yeah,
Yep.
because it was a sizable amount.
Uh-huh.
And the first time I also received, did you say the first time I received a gift or I gave a
Oh,
gift?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the first time I received a gift was when I was also much younger. It was like, a family friend gave me a gift, and I was excited, and I look forward to seeing the person
Uh-huh.
all
Uh-huh.
the time. Then
Uh-huh.
the first time I also gave a gift, uh, you know, someone, not donation, but was, yeah, at the birthday party. You know, I took a gift, and the person was so excited. So I could see that. So for me, um, giving gifts, it's a way of adding value, and it gives you, it uplifts your spirit, and it makes you even much more fulfilled in life. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So let me ask you a follow-up question about when you saw your dad give that gift. It sounds like you were feeling a little bit like maybe you were confused about the size of the gift.
Yeah, I was wondering, you know, why that kind of, you know, lump sum, or
Yeah.
something big. Why can't you just give a tip rather
Yeah.
than
Yes.
something
Yes.
sizable? Yes.
Now, did your dad give that large of an amount because there was something special about that person? Or was it that he had the money available or what?
He had the money, and is also, my dad was very generous,
Okay.
and that was his nature.
Yeah.
But obviously, he must have had some kind of exposure, you know,
Sure.
some orientation,
Yeah.
because I don't think that people just give, just like that. You must
Yeah.
have had, some kind of training, or, you must have seen the benefit of doing that, because giving gifts, it's a positive thing. It's not a bad thing.
Right.
So yeah, it shows that the person has a healthy lifestyle. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Okay. So for your listeners,
yeah,
a couple of things that as a fundraiser that I just got from our conversation is I learned that for you as a donor, most likely it's going to be important for you to see the people who
yeah,
benefit from
yeah,
the gift.
yeah,
Because you talked about people being happy and people being excited,
yeah,
seeing that impact that the gift had, that it made people excited. And you said that you look forward to seeing the person who gave you
yeah,
that gift,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So to me, it means that, okay, it would be probably pretty motivating for you to make a gift if you can see that impact,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
I also heard that you understand that giving is healthy, that
yeah,
giving is valuable to the person who's making the gift. So now I know I don't have to convince you that giving is a good idea,
yeah,
right? And another thing I heard is that from your dad's example, you know that, if you have an opportunity and you have the capacity, if you
Yeah.
have the money, if you have the whatever that treasure is, if you have it, you can give it away. Some
That's right.
people don't know that. They don't know that giving it away is a thing. They think if they have the thing, it means keep it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are already a philanthropist.
Yeah.
I know that about you on the inside, just from that one question I asked you. And that right there is like anyone who ever is feeling weird or nervous or awkward about talking to somebody about their money, start with that question. You say, I am so fascinated by why people make gifts. What is the first time you ever saw somebody make a gift? What is the first time you ever experienced a gift? And then you just go.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. This is really, it's it has to be learned, because
Yeah, so no one like knows how to do this stuff naturally. We don't have like fundraising schools. Well, we have a couple of them. Well, I think we have one. We have lots of conferences and all that kind of stuff, but it's the kind of thing you have to either learn it by doing or have a mentor. Or
Yeah.
you can start entry-level job and work your way up. But so what I think is that the more the people like me can pour out into leaders who need to fundraise, founders, volunteers, even paid fundraising professionals, the more that people like me can pour out into the world, there'll be more great fundraisers out there helping donors make good gifts.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I just want to follow up question, because I know this is, we can't, really talk about fundraising and talk about all the issues surrounding within this short time frame. But I want to appreciate you for the value that you bring to this podcast. And I'm sure that the listeners all over the world will be benefiting from your wealth of expertise and knowledge. Thank you so much, Anne. Now, do you have to be really like a relationship person before you can do fundraising? Because some people are introverts, they don't just feel like reaching out to people. Do you have to be, an extrovert to be as a fundraiser?
You don't have to be an extrovert, but you do have to have the right mindset.
All right.
You have to. And the mindset piece it's regardless of personality type, it's regardless of introvert or extrovert, it's regardless of all that stuff, but you have to have a mindset. Introverts struggle. I'm actually an introvert, but so introverts can struggle with fundraising in that it can be tiring, because you're spending a lot of time with other human beings.
Trying to convince people.
Yeah. You're talking like all day long. I'm on Zoom 12 hours a day just talking to people.
Wow.
So for an introvert, that's challenging, right? But the introverts are the ones who, I don't know. I would not want to have a fundraising organization of just extroverts. That's for sure.
Wow.
Got to have the introverts in there, but everybody has to have their mindset right. They have to know that fundraising is not begging.
Okay.
It's not twisting somebody's arm.
Okay.
You're not salesy. You're not slimy. You got to know this is a noble thing to do. Okay. You got to know that donors don't wake up in the morning knowing, how to make a gift. You don't just like call the university and say, hey, I want to make a gift. No, you work with somebody like me. There's only me. There's no other option.
Wow.
So people have to know that what the work that they're doing as a fundraiser is noble and meaningful and rewarding. And there's a piece of it, and now you got to bear with me, but there's a piece of it that is sacred. Because when we're talking to people about philanthropy, we're talking to people about giving, we are talking about their fears, their hopes, their dreams, We're talking about family trauma. We're talking about joy. We're talking about, the deepest held human emotions are connected to money and giving money away and doing something good for people. So if someone is into that, it's almost like being a therapist in some ways, right?
Yeah.
An introvert can be a fantastic therapist.
Okay.
Going deeper and deeper and deeper. Sometimes extroverts can't get there as easily.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. For those who are just listening, just joining in, speaking with Anne Murphy, been talking about leadership and fundraising. A leadership podcast, we talk with Adegoke podcast is a very impactful one. Sessions that we had on different topics on leadership, and this is the 40th series, 40th episode. Um, I'm a certified John Maxwell speaker trainer, and it's just a way of giving back to the society, just to add value. Now, I also have my courses on Udemy, world-class customer service. I have fundamentals of business etiquette and personal grooming. I have professional selling skills in crisis. That's on Udemy. I have my course, my books on Amazon, customer retention and experiential approach, and I also have selling in crisis. So if you like to pick it up, and feel free to visit our website, firstdegreeconsulting.net, 1stdegreeconsulting.net. So you get a lot of stuff that would add value to you. We also have a free ebook, Customer Retention in Crisis. That's on our website. Now, and you said so much about fundraising, but I want to ask you now, for those who have foundations, sometimes you feel that, how do you sustain it, to have donors coming again and again and again? Don't you get worried?
Yeah, you get worried that somebody might stop giving. Yeah, for sure. So, just like customer retention, the most cost-effective next donor or next customer is the one you already have.
Okay.
And so it's really important that you're paying attention to your relationship with the donor and you're demonstrating impact to them.
Okay.
So in your case, if you made a gift to an organization and I wanted to be very sure, let's say you gave $1 million gift. And so I was like, okay, we got to be sure that he feels good about his gift.
Okay.
I think, based on the conversation that we had earlier, I would be thinking about things like, let's be sure that we get to connect him with some of the beneficiaries, some of the people who he has helped.
Okay.
Right? But also because I heard you talk about happiness and excitement, I think, I would want to find out from you, are you interested in doing, a fun event? Like, because sometimes you've got a board meeting versus a street party.
Yeah.
Are you the board meeting person or are you the street party person? Like, you want to find out what each of your donors, what makes them feel like they've made an impact. You might have like 3 different types, 3 different avatars in mind.
Okay.
So yes, demonstrating impact and communicating that impact is really important.
Awesome.
Also, there's a lot of advantage in getting people into recurring commitments.
Okay.
So sometimes, you want to bring people through the front door of your organization. You want to get them doing monthly commitments, and then it's like set it and forget it, right? Easy peasy. Just get them giving every month in, month out.
Wow.
Another way to do it is you have to obviously have a great CRM, and you want to be a customer, relationship management database.
Yeah.
And so you're going to keep track of people that way as well. So you're going to know, okay, so-and-so just paid off their pledge, or they're about to pay off their pledge in 3 months. You need to start talking to them about their next gift and their next gift and their next gift.
Wow. Wow, wow, amazing, amazing. You are super. You're super. And this is mind blowing. You know, we might not be able to exhaust this on leadership and fundraising, but I just have two more questions to ask.
Okay.
Um, as a leader, do you always have? Do you have to build a team? For your fundraising, or you have to be the key person all the time to do the job?
So it's such a good question. And what I'm going to share is that at this point, I try to find as many opportunities for myself to step aside and let somebody else do it.
Okay.
Let somebody else have the experience, get the success story, get the quick failure, recover from it. Let somebody else get those reps, because I've done it for 25 years. I've had tens of thousands of conversations with donors.
Wow.
I don't need to keep I don't, for me, it's just another day in the life. For
Wow.
somebody else, it's an opportunity for them to practice and flex and be seen and get that experience. So I look for as many opportunities to move to the side. And it's especially easy for me because I recruit amazing human beings to work with me.
Wow.
Only A+ humans.
Wow.
No, I only work with kind people who work hard.
And they have a heart for the work.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care where you went to college. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what car you drive. I don't care about any of that stuff.
But you must have a heart for it.
You've got to have the heart for it. You've got to be kind, and you've got to work hard. That's it.
Wow.
That's it. And then as a result, I can step aside. I took a month off of work last year.
Wow.
I just went to Utah and went hiking for a month. I had no cell service, and my team ran everything.
Awesome.
We raised $25 million.
Wow.
And I didn't even come to work for a month.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Well done.
Yeah, I know. It's like, yay.
Yeah. I'm sure you must have been so proud of your team. Yeah.
Oh, I love them. They're everything to me. Yeah. Yeah, I love them.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing. Finally, who are your mentors? Because you really showed up tonight. You've added so much value.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I have had just the most beautiful mentoring relationships in my life. And my first one that changed me forever was a woman named Mrs. Muehlhauser. And she ran this track program in my town. Okay. And of course, you sign up for a running program, and I was thinking, okay, I'm here to learn to run fast and to run for a long time. You're just running. But what I didn't know was that I was learning all of these other lessons. And one of the main lessons she taught me was that it is possible for other people to believe in you more than you can even believe in yourself.
Wow.
If you need other people, sometimes you need people around you who believe in you. And that's what I do with everyone I mentor. The main thing is, I believe in you. You may not believe in you, but I believe in you. So she taught me how to be a mentor by believing in me when I didn't believe in me.
Wow.
And then the other thing she taught me is positive mental attitude, PMA.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in the sense of if I tell myself I'm going to dunk a basketball today, I'm going to dunk a basketball today. I don't mean it like that, but I do mean it that words and thoughts matter.
Okay.
Right? So if you tell yourself, I cannot write a good email, or you tell yourself, I do not think that I am good at leadership, that doesn't help. You got to tell yourself, you might tell yourself, I'm not yet at the peak of my leadership skills.
Okay.
But I said yet. I'm not yet there. I'm going to be there, but I'm not yet there. You think, I'm struggling with this email. Okay, well, what are my options? I'm pretty sure I can write a good email at the end of the day. So,
That's right.
right, you don't say to yourself, I can't do it. You say,
Wow.
I can do it, or I'm a work in progress.
Wow.
Positive mental attitude. And anyone who wants to come around me and say that something's not going to work, or say that something stinks, or say that so-and-so doesn't do this or can't do that.
Yeah.
My life is too short. I don't want to have
Wow.
anything to do with any of that. And I learned that from Mrs. Muehlhauser when I was probably 10 years old.
Awesome. Awesome. That's years ago. Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anne, for
Thank you
showing
for
up.
having me.
Yes. Yes. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. I'm sure our listeners will really enjoy this session on leadership and fundraising I've had with me on this awesome edition, the 40th edition of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. I've had with me Anne Murphy from Oregon, United States of America. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. And if people want to find me on LinkedIn, just
Yes.
DM me. I'll help. If there's anything I can do to help, just put in Anne Murphy Philanthropy
Okay.
in the
Anne Murphy.
search, and I'll come up.
Okay. Anne Murphy Philanthropy. That's
Yep.
on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Okay.
And just DM me and I'll answer questions. I can send you a free guide. I can do, whatever your organization is up to. If there's something that I can help with, I'm totally happy to do it. So just any of your listeners, just be in touch with me and let me know how I can help, because I would love to.
Thank you so much. You're very kind. You're very kind, Anne.
Yeah.
So on behalf of Leadership Talk with Adegoke, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you.
Thanks for